Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, middle-aged Karen parked in the mother parking spot and confronted me about how I'm not entitled to it. Karen got an employee fired because she helped her and still shops at the store like nothing happened. Because you were off school ill, your class project no longer belongs to you, even if your name is on it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Middle-aged Karen parked in the mother parking spot and confronted me about how I'm not entitled to it. Hey there, this happened yesterday at my local Loblaws. Most grocery stores here in Canada have a few expectant mothers parking spaces that are intended for pregnant women or parents with babies to use. They are generally closer to the door, usually beside the handicapped spaces or cart corral. I am currently 7 months pregnant and was following a Lexus into the parking lot, and I plan to use one of these spaces. The Lexus ahead of me took this space. I didn't think much of it and parked about 4 to 5 spaces down from it. As I'm walking into the store, the woman in the Lexus, mid-60s, saw that I was very visibly pregnant and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize," and laughed at me. I'm hormonal and it probably wasn't necessary, but I responded with, "You're obviously not that sorry since you parked in a spot you shouldn't have." She proceeded to get about a foot from me and scream at me, "F***CKU, you're not entitled to this spot." I was caught off guard and started crying, not proud of this, but the hormones are intense sometimes. Thankfully, bystanders don't like it when people yell and physically intimidate a pregnant lady, and about 5 people came over to rip her a new one, telling her she's way out of line and I'm the only person they see who is entitled to the space. One gentleman, my hero, actually called her a Karen. She got back into her car and left. I just don't understand why she felt the need to confront me. Did she think apologizing for her intentionally shitty behavior would make her look less like a Karen? Like I wasn't going to say anything, I just assumed she needed it because she had a baby or whatever, but she didn't. So that's my crazy Karen story, mild compared to most here, but it was honestly scary. People don't apologize when they are obviously in the wrong anymore, they double down and make it somehow your fault. People have no accountability anymore at all. It's called the Trump effect. When I was 9 months pregnant, I parked in one of those spots, and as I was getting out of my car, a lady came stomping up to me, clearly looking for a fight. I closed the door and she saw my stomach and her whole demeanor changed, and she smiled nicely, then turned and started towards her car. Some people take those parking spots very seriously. I think she might have fought off people parking there who weren't pregnant. I can't imagine how that would have turned out if I was less pregnant looking. I was pregnant early in the pandemic, and our grocery store had immune-compromised hours, which basically ended up just being elderly people. I got so much shit from old people for going during that time because I wasn't visibly pregnant. Sighting a Karen in the wild can be surprising. No shame in being caught off guard. For the bystanders. It's been my experience that Lexus drivers feel they are entitled to behave the way they want to because they own a Lexus. I'm a father of a toddler and a wonderful 10.5F, and I do not park in those spots when I'm with her. It's for people like pregnant women or a single parent with their hands full. My eldest assists me when needed, so my hands are never truly full, like they were back when she was a toddler and I was a fresh parent. By the way, my toddler is also wonderful. I blame their mother. I just don't understand why she felt the need to confront me. Did she think apologizing for her intentionally shitty behavior would make her look less like a Karen? It's more they want you to excuse them for their behavior. More like I've said a false apology and need you to say it's okay so you are the polite one and I can feel good about myself kind of thing. I'm not pregnant, and sometimes when I'm really mad, it comes out my tear ducts, lol. I'm glad others rushed to your defense. The nerve of that Karen. Karen got an employee fired because she helped her and still shops at the store like nothing happened. This was a couple of years ago. We had this one Karen, short blonde hair and nose permanently stuck in the air, shop at our store. She was wealthy and drove a new Mercedes or BMW, can't remember which one, and upgraded every couple of years. She also always came in with her earth-friendly bags and literally stuck her nose in the air and looked down on everyone. She also spoke to everyone in a condescending tone. She had me in tears once when I helped her. Anyway, this story is not about me. She befriended another employee and used her to get the baking pans we hired out for free and not pay the deposits or daily rental. Employees were allowed to rent them out for free if no one had booked them. So she used the employee to book it out and she would use it and return to employee without paying. At least not paying the store. Not sure if there were under-the-table payments made. Not sure how my boss found out, but when he did, he terminated employee's contract based on stealing, since we were allowed to use the tins for our own use, not sublet it to a customer. Not to mention a rich customer. We were all a bit shocked when this happened, and then Karen kept shopping without batting an eyelid. She knew the employee getting probably a little more than minimum wage and having a family to support was fired, but didn't care. The fired employee learned a lesson. I hope you did, with no consequences to you. The employee shouldn't have been helping the employee like that. Karen sounds like a bee, but your friend wouldn't be fired if she didn't put herself in that position. For example, if someone works at GameStop but is allowed to rent used games for free but allows customers to do that too, it defeats the purpose of charging at all. It's under the table and unacceptable for business. I just want to ask, you mention earth-friendly bags as though they're a bad thing? Are those not a good idea? Because you were off school ill, your class project no longer belongs to you, even if your name is on it. I previously made a post on a technology teacher that would hide tools into his overalls and lock the students in the classroom until they returned the tool that's missing to the tool cupboard, forcing students to either climb out the windows or sit down to read, etc. Well, here's another story with that very same teacher. The teacher was teaching us woodworking. Basically, using different methods to create a wooden model. Different joins, using nails, glue, etc. Cutting the wood into shape with sanding it down and other things. The usual woodworking lesson. We were not allowed to take our work home, so our projects were stored in containers with our names and class on them and stored in a cupboard. I made sure that I would also write my name on the project itself. In fact, it must have had my name on 5 sections of it. We were something like 2/3 of the way through the project when I was unable to come to school due to being ill. When I finally returned to school and went to the class, I find that my project wasn't in my named container. I had only missed 1 day of school, and the class timetable basically had this class 2 days in a row. A quick look into the other class cupboards showed that other classes in the room were doing metalwork or electronics, so none of them would have grabbed my work. So I walked around my class to ask if anyone had seen it, only to find a single student was using it. In fact, he had butchered and merged it into his own work. When I asked him why he stole my work, all I got was something like, "Get lost. It's my work now." I knew confronting this student would go nowhere because, surprise surprise, this student was the usual class bully. So I went to the teacher to report the theft. That's your fault. You shouldn't have been ill yesterday and missed class. Now your project belongs to that student. Doesn't matter if your name is on it. If you want to pass this class, you need to have completed work. So you better start from scratch. Knowing full well that I'll never be able to catch up, I just ended up sitting to one side for the lesson and not returning to any further lessons until the teacher started teaching something new for the year. You have got to report that idiot and the bully to the principal to start. If I can't have it back, nobody can have it. Start smashing it. Why didn't you go above his head to a principal, or even to someone in administration? This is not fair, but rather arbitrary on the teacher's part, meaning he makes up rules depending on how he feels or what he wants to do. Also, if you have a cell phone, can you get pics of what bully has, showing both his parts and your parts with your name, as evidence when you speak to higher ups? If it were me, I would also record teachers saying what he did. It's legal where I am to record conversations, as long as at least one person knows it's happening. And somehow making videos is even more liberal, just about anyone anywhere can with no repercussions. I teach carpentry at a college in the UK. If I tried pulling that stunt, I would be hauled in front of my boss and dressed down at the very least. Disgusting behavior. Sounds like this person has not done anything professionally other than teach. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.